So this is my third mixing walkthrough after I accidentally deleted the last two. So yeah, this is the mixing project for the band members. Yeah, got the whole project here. I mean, to start off with, as you can see, each has their own individual colour, as I learned through Ian's video, to try and group, different instrument types together. So, the bass, guitars, drums all have their own individual sections. It becomes harder to get it all confused. So, yeah, I mean, starting off, we have the drums. Minimal work has been done on the drums. Just EQs on these overheads. Slight EQs just to get rid of the harsh, tinny sounds at the higher ends of the frequencies, and some boosting on these kicks. Each individual to the track, because one's inside the kick obviously, and one's outside of the kick, they'll have majorly different sounds. So they'll have different sounds. So going through each drum and kind of individually changing the sound, tailoring it, can be a good choice. But on the flip side, they're all part of a group. So if I look at this mixing, yeah, all the drums are part of, as you can see, this drum group, which I also learned from Ian's video. So the kind of idea about putting drums in a group is, instead of having to go individually tweak each one, which is also a good idea, but instead of having to do that for stuff like compressor, you can just apply it to all of these, which is what I've done. So yeah, light stuff, as I said, a slight increase in the high frequencies, just so I can get a bit more sound out of it in the higher end, which I thought it was lacking. But at the same time, nothing too drastic. You don't want to mess with the sound of the song. The band's vision. They are the people in the front seat, I guess. So minor tweaks. A compressor. Looking at it, it's quite a heavy compression, but I guess if it works, it works. Threshold designed to pick up quite a lot of the drums. Of course, there's different types of compressors. I opted with this one. Each one will have an individual sound, and I went through and picked the one that was right for the track. Going into guitars, these aren't actually part of a group but a bus, which I'm not too sure why I've done that, but yeah, all four of these are guitars. On this bus, really just removing low end. I don't want it to clash with the bass too much, as they are quite similar instruments, just in different registers. So removing that low end can let the bass breathe just a tad more. So remove that, peaked a little bit in these high mids or low highs. There's some frequencies there which I quite liked, so increase that ever so slightly. Yeah, throughout the track, minimal editing. Doesn't mean it didn't take time, but I thought adding flanges and all these crazy effects like delays and stuff would just kind of clash with the vision, I guess, of the song. And of course, with not being able to send a mix through to the band, I don't really know what they want. So thought it best to just try and mix everything as best as possible with what I had. Finally, the bass. Also bus 4, which is really confusing because this channel EQ isn't, I don't know, but yeah, just compressor, different type of compressor again, which I thought would work well with this bass. Ratio pretty low, threshold it's really low. Change the makeup to kind of adjust for the sound differences brought on by the compression. And yeah, concerning mixing and mixing chains, that's about all I've done. Going on into automation. For the most part, I haven't had to automate too much, but one small change, like stylistic change I made, was removing some sound for the snares. I came to the realization that it sounds slightly better without the snares. in the build up to the song, the kick drum, kind of the 4 to the floor. I thought the snare just clashed with that a tiny bit, so literally automating, bringing it down, -7 on each one respectively, just to give some more space for the kick, and then bringing it back up again for the main tune. Also bass rhythm. For the last bass bit, I thought it carried a bit quiet. In fact, you can kind of see it on the sound waves. So increasing it, ever so slightly. I feel like it's increased the just made it a bit more consistent throughout the track. Obviously you don't want it to sound the same throughout the whole track, but yeah, let's work to bring up certain parts. So yeah, almost forgot. As you can see, at certain sections throughout the track, I've cut them. I've cut them. I found that, no disrespect to Casey, you pretty much did the whole thing, but certain bass takes were a bit off. They hit the wrong notes or they played at the wrong times. So there's several ways to solve this. I could flex time it, which is tedious, but it can work. But I also thought to literally just cut a previous verse section and kind of paste it on to the later verse section, kind of alleviating that, and hopefully sounding better, and it did. And yeah, I managed to get it to fit. To kind of lastly, to avoid clipping, decided to add an ever so small fade there. As you can see, the signal kind of abruptly cuts there. You don't want any clicks and pops, so a fade can do well to bring it down momentarily, just so it merges properly, but you don't obviously want the fade to last so long that the song cuts out. So by making a tiny little fade, I've tried to make it fit a bit more seamlessly. Other than that, that's pretty much it. But levels. Most of this mixing project was levels and working on levels. Initially it was all pretty stable near the 0 mark. Obviously Duncan had Taylor mix certain levels, in a in studio mix, not a final mix of course. And yeah, adjusting these levels has been quite a long process, but I think I found a nice spot. Working to turn down these overheads, as I thought they clashed just ever so slightly. Kicks are quite high. Maybe in hindsight I could turn them down ever so slightly. But I really wanted to emphasize the kind of kick in and a thump 4 to the floor. So yeah, it's all kind of done to ear, I guess. And then you have the groups. And yeah, that's about it really. This is pre-master project. After completing this a few weeks back, I then got this project, exported it in 24-bit, and yeah, worked to master, which I'll be uploading to my website. So yeah, that's it.